my God. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh. Excuse me. Holy shit. Woo. I just read an article last night. It says that cows are the biggest source of methane gas on planet Earth. I'm not so sure. Holy fuck. Seltzer's powerful, dude. Excuse me. That was ridiculous. What the frick? Okay. Anyway, so I have one more topic to talk about on today's pre-stream, and this one I may elaborate a little bit longer on because it's something near and dear to my heart. It was basically a time in my content creation history that a lot of people tend to forget about and try to brush under the rug, even though it actually was a pretty important and interesting year for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, to give you a little bit of quick history, I started making videos on YouTube in 2008. From the years of 2008 all the way through like 2013, I rarely never took anything I did seriously. I started doing it for a living in 2011. I still didn't care. I was dicking around. I was fucking around. I was making fun of games. I was constantly insulting game developers. I was raging. I was making really inappropriate jokes constantly. That was me and my shtick. I was the underdog guy who was just Joe Average, dicking around with games, didn't care about it, didn't take it seriously. I certainly, the last thing you would call me is professional. Okay. In 2013, I adopted direct capture. Instead of pointing a camera at my television, yes, from the years of 2008 to early 2013, I pointed a camera at the TV. I didn't even direct capture, okay? Didn't even use a microphone until 2013. Yeah, how primitive was that? In the year of 2013, I started doing direct capture and live streaming. But even then, I still was acting as if, basically, it wasn't really a job. Even though I worked my butt off and I was making ridiculous amounts of content for you guys, I ignored my live streaming audience. I streamed, but didn't talk with you guys at all. I didn't read the chat. I didn't interact with you guys. There was no shout outs, no discussion. It was as if you guys were not there. It was basically like I was ignoring you, and I was just sitting here like this, playing a game like this, doing commentary, telling you everything going on in the game, swearing at the game and raging, and paying no attention to you whatsoever. All right? Now, today, I am mature enough, I am professional enough, and I am smart enough to tell you that that was a big mistake. It was, okay? Essentially, what I should have done is I should have identified the trends that were going on in gaming, and I should have changed my formula to be interactive. When I did do that in 2017, things changed for me for the better. Because I'll be honest with you, there was a time frame, I would say probably about 2015 through 2016, when I was absolutely positively bored with my job. I didn't want to just do gameplay commentary anymore, okay? I was tired of it. I felt burnt out. I was bored to tears with it. And what I should have done was recognize the live streaming trends and became an interactive streamer sooner rather than later. But I was a stubborn idiot, and I decided that I was going to do things differently. Now, in 2016, definitely the popularity of DSP gaming had waned. And I decided that I wanted to take a new approach to content creation on the internet. I wanted to do what I called a three-pronged approach. So the first prong would be DSP gaming, where I would just do all my raw gameplay and commentary as I always had done. That wasn't going to change. It was always going to stay the same. So that was prong number one. And then there was a second prong. And the second prong was going to be the King of Hate Vlogs, my vlogging channel, where I would do things like spoken word reviews, actual not daily, but reaction videos, news videos, that kind of stuff. So that was prong number two. But then there was a third prong. And the third prong was all new and something that I had never done before, an edited style content channel. That channel was going to be countdowns, very high production value reviews, mini reaction videos, you know, that kind of stuff. Basically stuff that I'd never done any kind of production value on YouTube. And I wanted to basically see if I changed my formula up from being Mr. Raw Gameplay to a guy who put a lot of time and effort into editing content, would it work? So the third prong was a new channel that I created on YouTube called KO Gaming. And between the three prongs, this was my strategy for 2016. I figured I'd get you one of 3 ways. Yeah. Okay. Now, KO Gaming was quite interesting because what I did in 2016 is so different from what I do today. Today, as you guys know, I'm here all day long streaming. I have 2 major streams a day, right? First stream is usually longer. It's a more serious narrative-based game, an ongoing playthrough, usually AAA games I play during my main gameplay streams during the daytime. Night streams are more chilled, relaxed content, sometimes games that are way less popular, or a game that isn't necessarily an ongoing playthrough. For example, Street Fighter, Halo Infinite multiplayer, these things are not ongoing narrative playthroughs. You see, different kind of content on the late streams. But in 2016, I decided I was going to dramatically cut back on the amount that I was doing live streams. I was just going to do 1 stream a day that would be raw content, and that stream would be about 3 to 4 hours of gameplay. And then at night, I would be working on KO Gaming. Okay? Now, this is interesting because back then, all right, things were very different on YouTube. This was way before the YouTube ad apocalypse. Okay? What is the YouTube ad apocalypse? YouTube ad apocalypse is when a certain group of content creators, one of which was very much PewDiePie, but a couple others as well, basically behaved badly on YouTube. And at the very same time that they behaved badly and got into big trouble, like PewDiePie saying the N-word blatantly on YouTube, and it wasn't like, oh, I misspoke and it sounded like I said it and I didn't mean it. No, he outright said it and meant it the way he said it in his video, okay? So, when that happened, a lot of companies looked and said, wait a minute, these are the big content creators on YouTube acting like this, and we have advertisements all over their videos, and they're being like this. Like, we don't want that. That's terrible. We don't want to be advertising on that kind of content. And a lot of advertisers were like, man, this is a bad sign. At the same time that was happening, they also found out that advertisements were literally be putting on any video on YouTube. There were videos of people who were saying ridiculously over-the-top political, racist, crazy things. People, terrorist videos. I'm not even kidding you. People, I'm gonna, you know, hurt a group of people and stuff like that. Fucked up stuff. And there were ads all over. Starbucks ad runs on it, right? So when all this was happening together, basically a lot of major companies, including Walmart, Starbucks, these giant companies that were doing a huge amount of advertising on YouTube, said, we are pulling the plug. We've had enough, and we're out of here. And when they did that, the ad revenue plummeted on YouTube and made it to someone like me couldn't even make a living doing YouTube videos anymore. Okay? But this was the year before that. At this point in 2016, it was still very much viable to make a living doing YouTube videos. Now, for me, I had noticed the popularity of my raw gameplay videos was waning. I had noticed that even though it was the same formula and people seemed to like it, and I had a dedicated fan base of people who watched the videos, the income and the views I was getting on YouTube, on DSP Gaming in particular, was dipping. And I said, man, I got to make a change. I can't just keep doing what I'm doing and watch the channel go, boo. I have to do something different, okay? So, I diversified myself and made this channel KO Gaming, which was all edited style content. When I first started this channel, okay, it didn't really take off at all. I was doing things such as the Week in Review. And what it was, like, highlights the best moments of my raw gameplay on DSP Gaming that week. I remember sometimes it had stuff from Yakuza. It had stuff from shooter games. I would basically just highlight the funniest moments of the best things that happened in the week. You know, I'm sitting there at night. Like I told you guys, I would not stream at night. I would forego doing a live stream of gameplay. And I would just sit there editing and doing voiceovers and doing all that stuff at night. Okay? So, I would be working my butt off. Sometimes it would take 2 or 3 nights of work. We're talking 2-3 hours a night. 2-3 nights of work. So we're talking 9-10 hours of editing. Voiceovers, etc. Put out the video. The video gets 4,000 views. Makes me like $8. Now, it didn't work out too well in that regard. So at first, I say the first 2-3 months that I was working on KO Gaming, it wasn't really working that well. All right? But I'll tell you what happened in 2016. A bunch of games released. And these games were so disappointing, underwhelming, and in some cases just outright rip-offs. I made a series of videos that year, all right, that basically highlighted those games, okay? No Man's Sky, a game that was hyped for years and years. It would be the future of gaming. Oh my God, No Man's Sky is going to be like the best game ever. Open worlds that you can explore across the galaxy, unlimited randomly generated planets. Oh my God, you're going to see so many creatures that are so cool and unique and interesting and yada, yada, yada. And No Man's Sky, at least at release, today very different, but at least at release, was one of the worst fucking games ever made. It was completely underwhelming, lack of content, insanely repetitive, boring content. Basically, oh, by the way, I accidentally just banned someone by accident. I did not mean to do that. I'm very sorry. BITW Awesome, that was a complete misclick. I'm fixing that right now. You should be unbanned. That was completely wrong. I wanted to ban the guy above you who insulted me, and I just did. So BITW Awesome, you should be back now. That was a misclick. I'm sorry. Let me make sure that this works. BITW Awesome, are you back? You should be back. That was a mistake. He's back. Okay. Complete misclick. My apology. Okay. So anyway, yeah. Me covering No Man's Sky, my initial video got like 50,000 views. When I actually did my full-on review after playing it like 2-3 days, it got like 150 to almost 200,000 views. Pretty good for an up-and-coming channel. I did a series of videos that were very highly detailed reviews. They did pretty good, like Doom 2016, Uncharted 4. They all brought in anywhere from 10,000 to like 30,000 views, which is good, again, for a new channel. That's good viewership. But the video that by far blew up the popularity of KO Gaming at the time was, of course, a negative video. Because I hate to say this, and I know this over the course of me doing content on YouTube, YouTube has increasingly become a more toxic and negative place over the years. It just has. Someone who makes a video that's about drama, about negativity, about something bad, okay, compared to someone who makes videos about something good, positive, rewarding, refreshing, the best of versus the worst of. Whenever I would do the most disappointing games countdown, it would get twice as many views as the best games of the year countdown. And it's always been like that. I hate to say it, I guess it's human nature, is that humans focus on toxic, negative shit. So, the video that blew up on KO Gaming back in the day, that absolutely brought in attention to the channel, was Homefront: The Revolution, when I reviewed the game and said it was the worst game at that point that I had ever played. I concretely, in about a 15-minute video, outlined so many ways that the game was incredibly unfinished. It felt like it was rushed, tons of crap gameplay, terrible design choices, unfinished trash. On the PlayStation 4, it was supposed to be next gen, and it really felt like a last gen game. It was a piece of dog shit. Okay? Oh, excuse me. So, I make this video, and I'll be honest with you guys, when I made the video, I didn't think anything was going to happen. I thought it'll be just kind of in line with the other videos of the channel. It'll maybe get like 10,000, 20,000 views. As of today, that video has over 1.1 million views. It is the most watched video on YouTube about Homefront: The Revolution, and that includes every video ever put out about it, including the full-fledged reviews from full game outlets and stuff. My video is the #1 video about that game on YouTube. Okay? Pretty crazy. I didn't expect that. And personally, I don't even know what triggered the YouTube algorithm to actually make that video as popular as it was. Because I remember when I put the video out, within 24 hours, it maybe had gotten 10, 20,000 views. And I was like, okay. Then all of a sudden, like there was a second wave of attention and viewership that hit it. It hit somehow. It hit the YouTube recommended algorithm. And everyone started seeing the video in their recommended feeds who was interested in the game. And then people just started seeing it in their recommended feed who weren't interested in the game but were just looking at video game stuff. It just blew up as like the biggest recommended gaming video for like a week and a half. Okay? And that just blows my mind. That's what happened. Now here's the thing, and here's the thing about me compared with other content creators, okay? I'm someone who's an honest dude, and I'm someone who's going to cover games in a worthy way, and I'm not going to over-exaggerate, and I'm not going to lie, and I'm certainly not going to focus on one style of a video just because it became popular, okay? There were other videos that I made that were negative videos. For example, I played the Ghostbusters video game. That was the year when the Ghostbusters reboot happened, the all-female cast. They ended up changing the name of the movie later to Ghostbusters Answer the Call because it was so bad, they didn't want to tarnish the Ghostbusters name by calling it Ghostbusters. They changed the whole name of the movie because it was so fucking bad. But they had a tie-in game with that. And I played it. That was one of the worst games I had played. I did a negative review of that. I also played a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. That was god-awful. And I reviewed that. So when I did these negative reviews, these videos took off. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Anywhere between 50 to 100,000 views usually on the negative videos that I put out on KO Gaming. Those videos, no exaggeration, because again, remember, this was before the era of the YouTube adpocalypse. They were making me, I'm not exaggerating, thousands of dollars. When I put out a video, that fucking Homefront the Revolution video made me thousands of dollars. Those other videos made me hundreds upon hundreds, like lots of money on each video, okay? And by the way, this wasn't, oh, people were tipping and people, no, I wasn't even doing that. This was just people watching ads was making me that kind of money on those videos. Pretty crazy back then how different things were, okay? But being the kind of person that I was, I did not want to just be the kind of guy who put out constant, toxic, negative content. I could have done that. I could have made a whole series saying the worst game I've ever played and highlighted reasons why every game that was the worst game. I could, in fact, people were asking me to do that. People were like, Phil, can you literally play all the major releases and just make negative videos about them saying they suck and outline the reasons why? You don't have to lie. You can actually say the reasons why the game's bad, but it would be hilarious if you did an ongoing series where you basically said every game is the worst game ever and said why. People actually felt that at that point in my history as a content creator, if I had done that and only made negative content like that, I would have blown up in popularity on YouTube and had a whole recreation of a new career for myself. It would have been like starting over. Seriously. And you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe right. Maybe. Absolutely maybe. If I just sat there and was toxic and just made crappy, toxic, negative videos about games constantly, I actually might have had a second taking off on YouTube. Because KO Gaming had momentum. It did. Every video I was putting out had momentum. Okay? But here's what happened. I didn't do that. I said, I'm going to be true to myself. I'm going to be an honest guy. I'm going to make videos that I feel good about. So that year, as the year progressed, better games came out and I started making reviews for the better games. I started doing more meaningful content like countdowns. Like what's the worst things about modern gaming, but also, you know, some good things and positive countdowns as well. I actually did a retrospective about a Sonic 2006 when I played it that year. Telling, you know, the positives and negatives of what I felt about the game. Pretty insightful. I did a lot of interesting things on that channel that year. But what ended up happening was, because I made positive content instead of focusing on negative content, okay, by the end of the year, all of that momentum that I had was gone. Because people moved on. They were like, oh, this guy's not going to just crap on games anymore. That's what was funny. So fuck it. We're moving on. We're going to watch someone else be toxic and negative. And, you know, I hate to say it. Let's be honest here. Take a look at someone like Angry Joe, all right? Guy who has been around the block. He's been making content as long as me, if not longer. And his highly edited style, highly produced style of video is incredibly popular on YouTube. But what are his most popular videos? The ones where he craps on a game. The ones where he just rips the game a new asshole. He over-exaggerates for comedic effect. And he basically says the game is terrible, right? Those are the ones that get 1 million views. And he still, to this day, puts out videos that get about 1 million views each because he says these negative things about games. I'm not saying that's bad at all. It's quite the opposite. I think that he's one of the guys, he has a flair for it, right? And that's great. But why is it that on YouTube, only the toxic shit ends up being the most popular? Whenever he even does a review about a game that he likes, the viewership's way less and the popularity's way less. Okay? It's fucked up. So, by the end of 2016, I had seen a monstrous slowdown in any kind of attention that I had on KO Gaming. You know, these were videos that at one point in the middle of the year, when all that popular stuff was happening, any video I put out was getting between 10 to 50,000 views. By the end of the year, I was doing like year-end countdowns that were barely getting 10,000 views each, sometimes less. Basically, all that popularity had died down. Now, the thing is, even then, getting around 10,000 views a video, if I was putting out several videos a week, it was still enough to support the channel. It was. That was still enough to say, oh, this channel's worth it. This channel is definitely something to invest that time. And remember, I was only streaming once a day. Imagine if just this first stream was all I did. I never did a night stream, right? That's what I was doing, because every night it was edited content for KO Gaming. Okay? So it still was profitable for me, and it still made sense to do it. And even into 2017, I pushed forward, continuing with that channel. And originally my plan was to keep going and maybe try new stuff on KO Gaming in 2017. In fact, one of the things I was doing was fan-made montages. People who were doing things like, this is how you don't play and stuff. And I was going to highlight that content on KO Gaming. Okay? But then what ended up happening? Two things happened. Number one, the YouTube adpocalypse. And when the YouTube adpocalypse happened in February, March of 2017, ad revenue overnight halved. Okay? So imagine you were making a certain amount of money right now at your job. Let's say you make, I don't know, $12 an hour at your job. You come in the next day, they say, okay, you're going to put in the same work day today, but you're making $6 an hour. What? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm paying you half today. Forever. It's not going back to the way it was. You're getting paid $6 an hour forever now. What? Well, wait a minute. I got bills to pay. I got responsibilities. How do I make a living making half of what I did doing the same work? It's not even like you're letting me work less so I can go get another job. You're telling me I'm just making half. Yes. Deal with it or you're fired. That's pretty much the situation I was in. It was overnight. Ads go away because those advertisers pulled their ads because of, number one, the big controversial debacle with PewDiePie saying the N-word and basically blowing that out of proportion, and a lot of other content creators then getting negative highlights because of that situation, combined with the fact that the advertisers were finding their ads were on all kinds of toxic, gross videos. Just overnight, they pulled their ads, and that was the end of that. Now, in addition to that, what YouTube did in response was even worse. What YouTube did, they instituted a new video flagging system for content, okay? What this new flagging system did, it would look for key factors. Graphic content, sexual content, the actual number of swear or adult words used in a video, serious words like swearing or adult words used in the title of a video, in the tags of a video. It looked for all of these things, okay? And when it identified those things in your video, it would actually flag your video and say, not fit for advertisement, and make it so that you couldn't advertise on your video anymore. So overnight, you would work your ass off on a video that was doing well views-wise, and you would have no ads on it and make no money on it ever on YouTube. It was a complete waste of your time. So, when the YouTube adpocalypse hit, I changed my formula, and I became a full-time streamer that was interactive. I started talking with you guys. Yes, you guys started doing contributions on the streams that I would shout out. We started having meaningful conversations on the streams for the very first time, because up to then, it was me ignoring you and just acting like you weren't there and me just playing a game. And what ended up happening was, it became a different experience for me. At first, I'll be honest, it was very challenging. I remember I was playing Breath of the Wild, and I had already started Zelda Breath of the Wild as an offline playthrough slash, streamed but not interacting with you guys. And then one day, here we go, I'm playing it, and all of a sudden, people are coming into the chat, and they're talking about the most random shit. They're talking about food, they're talking about diapers, I'm serious. They're talking about the most dumb shit, and I'm like, I remember saying on that stream, I still remember this to this day, it's stuck in my head. I'm like, how on earth am I supposed to play this game when you guys are coming in here talking about the most random things ever? Like, it's impossible for me to keep a train of thought, right? And how funny that is, because now today, think about today's streams, how random things are today. The random topics people bring up, the things we talk about out of nowhere that have nothing to do with the game. But back then, it was such a new experience for me, right? And let me tell you something. When I basically started doing that, I realized, wow, this is such a different experience. It's harder. It's much harder than just doing the raw gameplay kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's way more fun. It ends up being more of a feeling of social interaction and experience with you guys. Like, we're chilling, we're having a good time, right? It's not just about me playing the game anymore. It's about us having that interaction and having that time together. And that's fun. You never know what you're going to talk about on one of my streams. And that's cool. That's one of the cool things I feel about my streams that's really nice is we don't know what we're talking about today. We don't know what's going to happen live today that we're going to react to. It could be in the game. It could be something else in real life. Who knows, right? And I'm having a great time about it. And, you know, Sugar Man even says, I'll be honest, you were kind of a dick when you first started to stream if topics were not about the game. You're right. And then over time, I got used to it. I got much better at reacting to things on the fly. Rather than, oh, this is something that I'm just reacting to the game. Now it's like, now I can react to you guys a lot better. I just got better at that, you know. And today, I would never, and I mean this, I would never want to go back to the kind of content that I used to make. I felt, at that time, I told you, 2015, 2016, I felt like that content was dry, boring, played out, and it wasn't going anywhere. I was so tired of doing it. I was actually completely burnt out that year. That year was, I mean, I'll be honest, 2016 and early 2017, probably one of the worst times of my life, personally, behind the scenes. Things were kind of falling apart. I hated my personal life, and my professional life was getting boring, and it was like, damn, everything at once just sucks, you know? And I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was going to be able to continue to be a content creator. I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, KO Gaming was kind of like the one positive during that time frame that was like, wow, this is cool, something different that I tried and it worked. And it blew up and people liked the content and they showed that if I put effort into content like this, highly edited, that they'll appreciate it and they'll come support it. I liked that. But then literally YouTube took it all away. Number one, it was the YouTube adpocalypse. That was number one. And number two, I don't know if I didn't mention this yet on the pre-stream today. They demonetized the entire channel of KO Gaming. The whole thing. Like out of nowhere. No explanation. No justification. One morning I go on KO Gaming and I look. Every video has been flagged unfit for ads. Every single one. To this day I still can't figure it out. I don't know why they did that. Because when you look at the history of KO Gaming, I used far less swearing on there. Everything I did was more professional. It wasn't me standing there flipping off the camera and going crazy. It was professional voice-over videos, production value and everything. I have no clue how that channel got flagged to be unfit for ads. Because DSP Gaming, if anything, right, should have been far worse. And DSP Gaming never was flagged for being unfit for ads. But during early 2017, this is what happened. I became a full-time streamer. I kept making content for KO Gaming. Within like the first 4 to 5 months of 2017, the whole channel got demonetized. And I said, well, then I'm done with it. And literally KO Gaming became just a dead channel, defunct channel. You know, it went from, I think at one point I had like a lot of subs and went down to only like 20,000 subs after that. And the only time I ever went back and I started using it again was in 2018. YouTube had a big error behind the scenes of YouTube. And it started flagging channels, not just mine, but tons of channels as spam because those channels were associated with Google+. Back then, you had to have a Google+ account to have a YouTube account. I know that sounds really stupid because it was. And this was right before YouTube completely got rid of Google+. Just ended it. Okay? For those who don't know, Google Plus was trying to be a competitor to Facebook. It was the Google social network. No one used it. It was a piece of dog shit. Everyone hated it. And everyone hated that you had to have an account to have a YouTube channel. It was just a terrible tie-in. And then this glitch was shutting down YouTube channels, including DSP Gaming. DSP Gaming was getting screwed over by this bullshit. And I was being told I couldn't put ads on videos. I couldn't upload videos or anything. Like the channel was defunct because of this glitch with Google+. So eventually I contacted YouTube behind the scenes. I got it I got Google Plus separated from DSP Gaming. When I did, it fixed the whole issue, and I was able to use DSP Gaming again. But during that time frame in 2018, I uploaded some gameplay videos to KO Gaming, and all of a sudden, I could monetize videos on there again. It didn't matter. By then, the channel was dead. You can't have a channel with no new content for a year and expect that people are going to care if you upload to it again. You just can't. And that's what happened, is the channel died completely when I stopped uploading. Because, like, why am I going to do edited content, highly stylized content, and put all the time and effort into doing it, and then get, you know, no money on it because I can't fucking put ads on it. It didn't make any sense at all. Okay? So anyway, I just wanted to take a trip down memory lane today about this. Last night, I was just kind of like, I don't know, reminiscing a little bit. And for some odd reason, I ended up on KO Gaming. And I was looking at the channel. I was like, wow, I don't even remember that I had made like half these videos. I'm looking at them, I'm like, wow, these are good. I actually watched back the Sonic 2006 retrospective that I had done. And I was like, wow, this video's good. Like, this video has a lot of good points about Sonic 2006 that I didn't remember because I haven't played it since 2016. I'm like, wow, you know, this is a neat video for anyone to watch who may be interested in what the oddity that Sonic 2006 was. You know, and, you know, a few other things, you know, I'm watching a few of these. Basically, I was watching them as I was trying to go to sleep. I was just popping up, watching a few quick videos as I'm trying to go to sleep. And I'm like, wow, these aren't bad at all. Damn, what a shame. What a shame of what happened. And number one, the only way you could get popularity on YouTube is to be toxic and negative. Because I liked doing that style of content. I really did. I felt proud in putting in the time and effort to put out a high production value video that people liked. I thought that it was worthy of, you know, the time and effort I put into it. But it was just a shame the only time that the videos really took off is when they were toxic or negative, right? The worst game, or, you know, No Man's Buy, right? Or, you know, Turtle Soup. I'd rather be in a thing of soup than fucking play this Ninja Turtles game and stuff like that. Pretty disappointing that that's the kind of content I would have had to keep putting out, always putting out toxic, negative content if I wanted that channel to continue to take off the way that it had, you know. It's a shame, because I really liked doing it. And then, of course, YouTube put an end to it anyway. Even if I wanted to keep making content, they ended it. So, okay. All right, guys. Shout-outs time. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. These contributions are mandatory. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. These contributions are mandatory. Show me the money. Free. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money. Oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. These contributions are mandatory. Tipping me helps me more than anything.